Hi, I'm Kristen Yorka, the creator of the I AM Affirmation Cards, and thank you for joining me here as we learn more about how to use this wonderful deck that's for kids and kids at heart. Now, I say kids at heart because I originally created the deck for children, as I mostly teach children's yoga in the schools and privately and in workshops and events. But then I came to find out that a lot of adults wanted them too. They wanted to connect to their inner child. So although the instructions are written from the perspective of an adult teaching a child, I think you can also find it useful if you are the adult trying to connect with your own inner child. So let's get started. The I Am Affirmation deck comes in this nice canvas tote, so you can carry it around wherever you go. And they are 22 cards. Our Wild Wonder logo is on the back. And each of the 22 high quality cards that were printed and produced locally in Florida are also illustrated by Miami native Karen Ramirez, who I just love. If you've been going through some of the pictures, I had someone comment and say, wait, are there only girls in the deck? Are they for girls? And no, I don't. Obviously, there's boys too, and I think boys are equally loving the deck. I think I just chose my favorite cards, and the designs just happen to have female characters in them, but that's just me. You will connect with the cards that you connect with, and that's okay. So let's get started. What is an affirmation? To me, an affirmation is something good that you want to believe about yourself or something you want to be more of. So the idea is that it's not something we're reaching for. It's not something that we are not and we need to become. It's something that it's already inside us and we just need a little help bringing it out. I tell the kids that when we're practicing affirmations, that we really practice it in order to create so much of this feeling, this energy, that it just shoots out all over the place. And that's the goal, at least for me, in an affirmation practice. So I use I am on each card because I think the command to the brain, I am, is so powerful. In the instructions that come with the cards, I say, I am is a direct command to the brain. It overrides previous belief structures if repeated with conviction and consistency. When we are not in control of our thoughts, old software repeats archaic beliefs. A child gets a bad grade on a math test, and the mind repeats the thought, I am not good at math, until some force, internal or external, interrupts that broken recording. The force that stops the recording is I am. A child whose belief is I am bad at math will never be good at it. But a child who is able to redefine the belief that they have about themselves can begin to improve anything they'd like. Now, I know it's not just children. All of us have some ingrained belief system, whether it's on the surface or in our subconscious, that we didn't have. So that's what these cards are for. It's to rewrite that belief system. So you have the cards, right? What do we do with them? They seem so mystical and magical and also very pretty. The first thing I like to do with a set of cards is make them my own. Imbue them with my own energy. Make them mine. So if they're your deck, you're going to do the following directives on your own. And if they're a set of cards for a kid, you're going to hand the deck to the child. The first thing I would do is open it up, take it out of the bag, take off the plastic, and begin by touching each card. Now, you or the child might want to look at the card, the actual illustrations, or you could passively just touch each card, right? Touching each card, either moving them from one hand to the other or putting them down on the table. Right? Good, and we're looking. Maybe the child is really enjoying. It's like looking at a picture book and going through all the paintings. Maybe they're commenting, oh, I really like this one. Oh, that one's really pretty. That one looks like me. And as they're going through, they're just thinking about how these cards are theirs. They're for them to use or for you to use. After you go through all of the cards, or the child goes through all of the cards, we're going to put the deck on our hearts, and we will close our eyes and just feel the cards. If we're starting the practice right away, I would ask myself or the child what it is they'd like to connect with. What is it that they would like to see? What do they have a question they would like to ask? Are they confused? Are they scared? But have them close their eyes and really think about a hope, an intention, or a prayer. If they believe in a higher power, ask them to connect with that higher power and ask that higher power what it is they most need to know today. And after they have closed their eyes for a bit, really grounded down and really imbued their magic into the cards, then it's time to choose a card. For younger children, and I'm thinking under 3 years old, they can look at the cards. Maybe they're not able to read yet. They could just go through them, and they will choose a card that they feel most connected to. So let's say a child really, really loves this picture, right? They have no idea what it says, and that's okay. So you might ask the child, what is it about this picture that you really love? If you're doing it on your own, what is it about this picture that you really connect with? And we're looking at it and we're just thinking. And remember, if you're leading a child, you're just guiding. You're just putting on some bumpers. So your role is really to just ask questions and not direct too much. I know we adults love to direct, right? But we're not doing that. We're just being really inquisitive and helping them to make this practice their own. So a young child may choose a card, and that's okay. Older children, you might like them to connect with their intuition a little bit, and that might be easy. So you can hold out the card like this and ask them to pick a card, any card, and kind of wave their hand around. Whenever they feel drawn to a specific card, they could pull that card out and look at it, and that would be their card for the meditation. They could also spread out the cards and hover their hand over and tell them, close your eyes, and when you feel a magic pull, drop your hand and choose that card, and then that would be their card for the affirmation practice. Right? Great. So with the younger kids, an art project might be useful. So let's say the younger child got this card and you read it to them, you say, you chose I am healthy. Maybe you want to start a little dialogue and say, what does being healthy mean to you? Without too much guidance, just get an idea of what healthy means to them. And then they can start an art project with them and tell them, so I want you to draw what healthy means for you. This might be great for older children too. If you have a child that really loves to draw, or if you really love to draw it out. What does this card, whichever card you chose, mean for you? What are the illustrations and archetypes that bring out this feeling of this specific affirmation? With older children, you can meditate a little longer. So let's see, we have our card and we place it down in front of ourselves or in front of a child, and this is our affirmation, right? So we can either sit with the card and repeat with the child, I am healthy, 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 I am healthy for a certain amount of time. So you could set a timer and have them do it that way. I really like to use a traditional Kundalini hand position. It comes from the Kundalini practice, which is we touch our fingers as we say a word. So with younger children, I tell them to quack, quack, quack every time they say a word. So it would be I am healthy. With older children, I like to see if they could touch each finger to the thumb, which really engages their body, their mind, their voice, their eyes, all of their senses into the practice. So it really keeps them from, being unfocused. May keep you from being unfocused. It's a really great practice. So if you were doing a practice like, let's choose another card, I am beautiful, you would have to add so, because see, I am beautiful, we leave the pinky out. But we'd add I am so beautiful, then we have the full practice. The way I practice with the fingers, with the children, and with myself is I would hold the card out in front of me and I would begin saying, I am so beautiful. Then I would say it again, I am so beautiful. Then I would do it in a whisper, right? Twice through. And then I would do it in silence, twice through, a whisper again, twice through, and then in my normal tone, twice through. Remember, with the older children, they might be able to do finger to thumb, or thumb, all fingers to thumb. Okay, whatever their ability level is fine. It just gives them something to do with their hands while they're practicing their affirmation. So I think that's a really great one. If a child, or you're not really into using your hands and you think you're okay being able to just sit, or a child is really able, they're very mature and they're able to just sit and gaze at the card for a certain number of time and maybe silently repeat to themselves or whisper to themselves the affirmation, you could set a timer, and that's the level of the child. So you really have to gauge. If a child is able to sit for a really long time and you think, yeah, they could totally sit for 5 minutes, set a timer for 5 minutes, place the card in front of them, and if you're sitting with them, you would both sit in silence. If the child wishes to repeat the affirmation aloud, you can ask them if they'd like you to repeat it with them, or if they'd like to do it on their own. And then just see, maybe you overshot the amount of time that you thought this child or yourself could sit in this affirmation meditation. That's okay. It ends when it ends. It shouldn't be forced. So let's say a child or yourself only made it to 2 minutes. That's okay. That's a start. 2 minutes is good. So close your practice there. If you feel like you'd like to go over the time that you set for yourself or your child, by all means. But there's no judgment in this practice, and doing it longer or shorter makes no difference. So really make it your own. Let the child make it their own. So let's say we did our practice, right? We either created an artwork, or we did our finger or hand practice, or we sat with our cards and simply repeated the affirmation for a given amount of time. What comes next? Well, I am a big believer in making this entire thing a ritual. So there needs to be some sense of closure. This is the end. So we finish, the timer goes off, or the child decides that this time is up. If you're working with a child, help them re-center. Give them a sense of, okay, we finished the practice, but now let's sit and acknowledge that the practice is finished, that this special time between us was special, and now a different chapter of our day will begin. And that you can make that your own. It could end with simply saying thank you to the child. It could end with you saying thank you to yourself. It could end with a hug, a self-hug. It could end with a special word. In certain circumstances, I would Om at the end. You could join in a prayer. Whatever is right for you, your child, your family, just make it yours, or allow the child to make it theirs. Ask them, how would you like to end this practice? What would be an appropriate symbol or gesture to end this together, this special time together? And you might be surprised by what they say. And then the next time you do it, you know exactly how to end the practice, right? If it ended with a hug, we end with a hug again. And then the child knows, now it's time to move on with the rest of my life. If the child made an art piece during your time together, or if you made an art piece during the time with yourself, it's great, because now you have a visual representation of your affirmation for the day, and you could place it anywhere in your house, and you will see it throughout the week, and you will remind yourself of this thing that you already are, that you're becoming more and more of through this affirmation practice. So that's all I have for you. I really hope that you enjoy these cards. I know I've gotten some great comments and emails and feedback, so I'm really grateful for those. I'm thankful that they've been so helpful so far. But please email me if you have any questions at all during your practice. I hope this little video helped you learn a little bit more about the affirmation practice, but we could always go further. So happy practicing. Have a beautiful and blessed day. See you soon.